Good morning. Been a few days since we've done a video. We kind of got our rock shop going. Hashtag Desert Rock Shop. But we've got a few things set up. We're still getting more out. The wind was a little rough last night, so I'll move some of this stuff around. But there's our rock shop. Started digging, building up our berm here. We got plants planted that I'm protecting. My moringa tree, a little mammillaria, and we had to relocate this hedgehog. So we put it right here. This is going to be our sunflowers and lobelia and carrots. And we're going to put more carrots here. And we have a moringa tree. I think the frost got to it, but I'm leaving it just in case because the roots still look good. We got potatoes in here. We have beets in here. We have more carrots here. This is going to be lettuce, and this is going to be spinach. More potatoes. I'm going to go in there. Yes, you are fortunate enough that you're out here while I'm opening up everything. More seeds. Do like this. Yes, I should have been better. But got this a little cleared out. We haven't done a video in a few days because it's been kind of exciting around here. We've had a few issues and we got those taken care of. Got a little more cleaning up to do, and shower halfway built. Not good. But I got to get on that. It's been a beautiful morning. Back to the shower. So I was going to do the wood plants though this way, but it's going to take way too much wood. So what I'm doing is these dead ocotillos, what I thought was a crown of thorns, is actually what they call ocotillo. It's in the tea family, in the blueberry family, more than it's in anything. So this is the ocotillo. We're also starting on our compost pile. We're gonna do a living fence around it. These things will root when you cut them and grow. So we're gonna do a living fence around this, a fence around that, a fence around a couple of things. Take out a little walk this morning to show you what we found. Oh, I'll show you something else about the ocotillos. They've been used for medicine. You can make a tea out of the inside fibers, and it's for your lymphatic system. So it helps regulate your lymphatic system, prostate problems. It also helps with like anything below the colon. And these flowers, see if I can get one without getting poked. I'm trying, hang on guys. These things got some serious bend to them with these thorns. Hey, corksucker. Anyway, okay, so I got one of the flowers. Let's see if I can get it in there. Anyway, you can eat them, and they taste like a little bit between like a to me, a honeydew and a cucumber. Something else we found, wolfberry. Now, you guys may not know what wolfberry is, but it's a goji berry. And we got another one here and another one there, and there's some back in here. This, it turns out, is a mesquite plant. We've got several of those. I'm going to walk down the wash here and show you a few things. Another mesquite that's coming on. I don't know if it's dead or not, but I see little greens on it. And there's a mesquite over here, which I can see didn't get hit with the frost too hard. And there's a mesquite right there, mesquite. So we got several mesquites. You may ask, what good is mesquite? A lot. You can do a lot with it. Primarily, you can take the seed pods that are on it and you can make flour. So, considering all the wheat things that are going on, might be a good idea to have it around here. But, another goji. Mesquite. And there's several mesquites here. There's different kinds of mesquites. I'm taking you to see this beautiful mammillaria I found yesterday, or the day before. Walking around. Got to kind of take it easy today. Strained my back a little bit yesterday. Really messed up my arm. But look at the quartz veins running through these things. If I ever get bored and want to go after some quartz, there I go. I gotta tell you guys, kind of miss making a video, but we really did have a lot going on. We're really hoping to show people that this can be done out here. You know, we were stressing at first. We were like, where are we going to get soil? Where are we going to get, you know, even if you got the soil and you're growing good, it's so hot here, you got to cover it. So where are we going to get compost? Where are we going to get wood covering? And I'll show you the solution that we came up with. And it's a pretty good one. And it turns out it's, again, we're blessed to have this stuff here. Just about every plant on our property here is edible. So here we go. Look at this guy. Right here. Isn't he beautiful? So that's a mammillaria, a type of cactus. And we're right on the edge of our property here. But I'll show you how we came up with compost and how we came up with bark chips. So the things I were calling yuccas, I found out are actually Joshua trees. So we have Joshua trees on our property all over the place. I'm kind of learning all this as I go, so you're learning with me. I get names wrong, I will correct myself. But that wood is hard. So that's burnable to make biochar. What I want to show you is what we're doing it. Ryder, come. You gotta love the desert in the morning. It is so quiet out here. I mean, you can whisper and hear yourself. So let me get back down to these Joshua trees. Starting to warm up pretty nicely, so I have to keep an eye on the dog. Hey! You have to keep an eye on the dog and snakes. I've got a buddy of mine who says, you know, why are you so scared of snakes? Well, anybody who knows me knows that's the least of my worries. I'm not scared of snakes whatsoever. I'm one of the dumb people to go and pick them up. But Over here we have what they call a Mojave green, the deadliest rattlesnake in America. Neurotoxin and hemotoxic venom. So it's got both kinds of venom and no antivenom. So these are the ocotillos that we're using for our dead fence. And they still have the thorns on them, but they break pretty easy off the thing, and they're pretty stout here. And you can build with them somewhat, and not structurally integral. It's not really good wood for a structure, integral or something like that. But it'll work. So back to what I was getting at. This is a yucca. See how the needles are different? They're thin, they're pointy, and they're long. These are a Joshua tree. Those guys, not yuccas. Even though they are technically yuccas, Joshua trees are yuccas. They're just a different family of the yuccas. The needles tend to be smaller, thinner, but this is an actual tree with bark. See the bark? So we've been taking the bark and using it for bark chips. And then the wonderful thing about these things is the bark, once you get past the bark and you get to the next layer of the skin of the yucca, this right here, you can see where we went through and got this one. This stuff, can you see all this fiber? Oh man, that stuff works so good for keeping moisture in your soil. So a couple times a day we come out here and we scavenge for compost and bark dust and fibers and all the good things. And I'll show you, I'll make it back to the bus and I'll show you how we've been doing it and implement and, you know, introducing it into our gardening. We're also taking these brittle bushes that you see, and we take the stems and crush them up, and that makes a little, you know, it covers the soil, keeps it damp, and that's all we're shooting for. Again, mesquite. Something tells me Papa's gonna be having some mesquite chicken. I have to learn how to do all this stuff. Oh, the Joshua tree, back to it. So much that we can get from it. The wood to burn, the bark for ground cover, the fibers for moisture absorber, all right here on our property. Yes, dear, I saw it. I'm going to work on it after this video.
Oh, I tightened it up. It's just down to a small drip now.
Okay. Our water thing was leaking a little bit. And not just a little bit, judging from...
we lost a lot of water.
We lost probably about 30 gallons of water from that drip. All right, so back to where I was. This is the fiber. All right. So we used the fiber to line our beds. Then we used the bark chips. Now you see red. Our cousin, Janice and Roy, they brought us out some bark chips and we threw it in and mixed it in. So it covered up the bed. Now, the other thing we got a lot of is rocks. So I took the rocks and kind of made a rock bed to hold it up. Now I'm going to dig a swell through here, and this is coming out this way and circling this way, about like the table is, and going out towards right in here. And there's going to be a swell that comes down through here and continues on naturally. That's the plans. That's what we're working on, is getting this section that we're living in cleared, and where we can walk around and the dog can walk around. We're not worried about snakes. The next plan is we're going to take this one down, the greenhouse thing, the work. We're going to move it on the side of here. And then we have a 20 by 10 pole structure, a greenhouse that we're going to line right on the side. Here, going back to cover our garden for protection later on, because we're moving the bus over to here. And then we'll be able to concentrate on this area, and we'll be able to concentrate on this area next. We're trying to keep everything within like 25 feet of the bus in both directions that we're working. So it just makes it less daunting how much we have. It just makes it a little less daunting. It gives us sections to work in, rooms, if you will. So that's where we stand. This ocotillo is growing. Unfortunately, this guy's got to come out. And we'll probably end up living fencing him this way, and then taking the rootstock and burying it out there to make our main fence. We're going to go with a living fence on the perimeter of our thing, using the ocotillos, which have some nasty thorns, but also jumping chollas. I don't know if you've seen this one. I transplanted this one out here. And I'll give you an idea of what I'm doing. So I figured I'd go on the front portion of the fence with these guys, jumping chollas. If you watch, hey, dog out. These things are brutal. I mean, they call them jumping chollas because you can go somewhere near them and one of those things will jump on you. That's what it seems like. You can barely touch it, and next thing you know, you're covered in these. Riders learn to avoid them because he don't like me pulling out these fuckers. Oh, sorry. These things from everything. Again, Dad, I'm sorry that I used the F word. I try not to. Ryder, come. But that ocotillo is like 20 feet tall. That's like an $800 plant. I found out if they're like 1 to 3 feet, they're about $30. If they're like 5 to 10 feet, they can go upwards to, $400. Anything over 5 to 10 feet, you're looking at $600, $700, $800 for these plants. So that's where we stand. So I'm thinking about propagating them, cultivating them. I've got a lot of stock to use. Just taking the tips off of them. And don't worry, if I take the tips off of them, that just means they branch. So I make them thicker and bushier by doing that. And so that's the plan. Eventually we'll get to it. Right now we're concentrating on getting our garden in. Other than that, be nice to one another in this world that seems to be going crazy. And be kind to strangers. You never know what other people are going through. And love one another. We love you guys. We'll talk to you later.